Hello, friends. Nayaswami Riemann here, and this is our show, Ask a Yogi. I recently received this letter from somebody in India. She wrote that I lost my husband recently in an accident. We'd only been married 14 months. What karma caused us to separate like this? I'm feeling guilty that I didn't save him. I even thought to commit suicide in order to be with him. But I have my parents and family. But I hope in my next reincarnation I will be with him. Losing a loved one, and especially with such a short time together in their marriage, is a great tragedy. There's no doubt about this. The great Lord Buddha went forth to seek the solution to the threefold suffering of humanity: disease, old age, and death. Well, like death and taxes, which come to everybody, there's nothing we can do about the reality of illness, death, and old age, but the truth that he was seeking, and the reason for a question like this isn't that she expects to bring him back to life, but how to deal emotionally with his loss. Does she have any reason to be guilty? Well, I don't know the circumstances of the accident, but in any case, whenever we lose somebody, we tend to think, what could I have done differently, if at all, to have spared my loved one from their suffering or their death? We can never really fully know the intricacies of circumstances and past karma that give rise to these tragedies. We can know, however, that from the standpoint of the soul, the eternal Atman, from the standpoint of the spirit, which is the underlying reality of all life, that it is our destiny to find happiness. It is our destiny to transcend suffering. It is our destiny because it is who we are and where we have come from. So the challenge of life, no matter what form it takes, is the degree of courage and faith to not overcome things so much. I mean, sometimes we simply can't. Sometimes a loved one dies, and we certainly will die. It's not overcoming in the sense of curing. It's remaining sufficiently centered within ourselves that we can see the overarching truth that shall make us free. Free from what? Suffering. Free from grief. Now, I should also say that even great saints experience suffering, yes, and grief, certainly. But the inward knowing that this is the appropriate response, and it's not a play acting thing, it's the inward knowing that under these circumstances, grief arises. Under these circumstances, my body feels pain. My heart feels pain. But behind all that, like the very breathing that goes on behind everything else, there is this deeper knowing that I'm safe, that I'm well, that I'm happy, and that those who suffer are ultimately in their souls safe, happy, and transcendent of suffering. It's not as important to know all the reasons for why we were born, the reasons for why a friend suffers, or why we suffer. Rather, the lesson is to muster the faith to stand unbroken amidst the crash of the world around us. It's the faith to know that behind tragedy, yes, also positive things, but we rarely question positive things. Behind the tragedy is the velvet hand of blessedness, of grace, of mercy, of freedom that awaits us in accordance to our faith and our deeper knowing that all is well, and all, in fact, is grace. Prana, which is to say the life energy of the universe, is the vibrational presence of God as the source of all things. And to feel that energy, to feel that flow, is to live in grace, is to cooperate with grace, to fulfill the part that we play, including at times grieving, including at times suffering, but to play our part with the deeper knowledge that this is but a play, and that we are being asked to play our part in this great cosmic symphony. And so, on another one of these videos, I want to talk about how we can help those who have left this earth, who have died before us, but that's another question. So, where does this faith, this knowing that I refer to, comes from? Well, it might arise under circumstances of tragedy, but more likely it will be there for us when we need it if we live this life of faith on a daily basis. If we meditate and pray daily, if we look after the needs of others daily, if we have faith in the goodness of life daily, then how we live is how we will die. How we live is how we will suffer and experience suffering. Will we experience it only as suffering? Or can we see it as grace? Can we see it as helping us to grow stronger, helping us to rise above the challenges and without denying them, but to embrace them as part of a larger reality whose essence is goodness? All right. Joy and blessings to you.